Good evening. Welcome to the local development finance authority of the city of Adrian council meeting for April 17th. Time I'll call this meeting to order and then for Kim Butler to take the roll. Here.
Here.
Here. Here. Here. Okay, when you have a quorum present, that being said, and as much as both members, Murphy and Wemble contacted me, informing me that they wouldn't be able to be here this evening, I would entertain a motion to excuse both member Murphy and member Wemble.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Ron, support by Captain. Murphy and Wemble for this evening. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just want to everybody use the mic. They're recording the meeting and they can hear it clear when it's talked through the mic. Thank you.
And you know what?
So the button goes green.
Thank you for the reminder. Let's move on to item number 3. We need to approve this evening's agenda.
So moved.
Motion by member Kapnick,
Support.
support by member Noy to approve this evening's agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion, yes?
Yes.
Those
Yes.
opposed,
Yes.
no. Motion is carried. Item 4 is the meeting minutes of the special meeting we had on March 19th. We need to approve those minutes.
So moved.
So, motion by member Kapnick. Second by member Ganatke, and that would be to approve the meeting minutes of the special meeting held on March 19th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion, yes?
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion is carried. Item 5, public comment items that are on this evening's agenda. If there are any of you in the audience who would like to address this group regarding anything that is on the agenda, we would certainly welcome those comments at this time. Hearing none, let's move on to new business. First up under new business, the review and the recommendation of the fiscal year 2024-2025 Adrian Tecumseh Local Development Finance Authority budget. And I'm going to say Manager Swallow, Administrator Elliott. It's your convenience, please.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. Thank you again for our special meeting in March, where you provided some feedback on the budget. I think we have incorporated most of your guidance from that. But just to give a quick overview of what has been proposed in the budget this evening. The anticipated revenues, and that comes from the capture of both the city of Adrian and uniquely, if you recall, in the city of Tecumseh, we had an existing LDFA that we were capturing until that plan was paid off, and that has been paid off. So you'll see in the budget table, we are starting to capture funds also from the city of Tecumseh. So that is going to grow our capture. Estimated right now is at $269,564 for the next fiscal year. New item in the budget that we discussed at the last meeting was allocating some funding for staff support, since obviously the city staffs have to date been providing support for the board. However, with our growing needs and actually some budget to work with, we're looking at needing some additional staff support. So there is a new line item in there at $35,000, which is, I believe, roughly what we discussed. Obviously, that's not enough for a person. However, it could be a split job description. We've had some discussion already about what organizations might be able to host that. Maybe even one of the cities host that staff person and create a split job description where they obviously have other duties. And then this would supplement the budget for that position. One of the other big items that we've talked about, specifically the Whit Farm in the city of Adrian, and there's a later agenda item to get started on that, about our public infrastructure projects. There is 76,500 for a potential project at the Witt Farm, as well as 25,000 for a potential project at the city of Tecumseh's industrial park, or the business and tech park. We do have a developer that built a building, if you recall, in the Tecumseh business and tech park. We actually have a purchase agreement for another lot. They are anticipating building another spec building, so may need some additional utility costs for that. So that's a total of $101,500. Business support services. This is, of course, our partnership with the Adrian Armory. I do see the Murrays, I believe, are online this evening. So if you have questions for them, but that is a $35,000 a year commitment. We are not allocating any funding this time for the A-team analysts, which were housed at Lenawee now. They've indicated they're discontinuing that program. So right now that actually went down to $35,000. Based on our discussions again last month, we talked about needing to increase our marketing budget to maybe outreach, get some more publicity for the city's properties that are available. And so that line item has been increased to $15,000. So that brings us to total appropriations of $198,500. Based on this, there would be a savings or a surplus that could be allocated to, that anticipated to be allocated to fund balance of $71,064. One of the other requirements that we have from the state is that we're only allowed to carry a 5% undesignated fund balance. So this is, basically fund balance for where we haven't identified any purpose for it. So if you do the math real quick on our current fund balance, that 5% would be $25,304. The balance, the state asks that the board identify potential projects that you would allocate towards that, or that funding for. So that is a total of $480,757. The suggestion is that you allocate that towards public infrastructure. So if, for example, a project does hit at the Witt Farm, that would be significant funding towards road infrastructure, whether it be utilities, those types of things, so that there'd be funding available for that. So that is summary of the recommendation. There's a table, obviously, that shows you the detail of that. In the table, it shows you the activity from our fiscal year 22-23, as well as our current 23-24 amended budget, and then the recommended budget for our coming fiscal year. And this would be a recommendation to the Adrian City Commission and the Tecumseh City Council.
Thank you, Manager Swallow. Administrator Elliott, did you have anything you would like to add to that, sir?
Just to thank Manager Swallow for his effort in putting this together, substantially his work product, not mine, but I appreciate it and support it.
Thank you, sir. What's the board's feelings on this recommendation that's presented to you this evening?
I have to agree that it's very well put together. I appreciate it. I don't find any surprises. I think we've been introduced to each of these topics along the way. From the Murray project to the Witt Drive and all of it. I think I was a little surprised though Witt Drive was a little less than I anticipated. Quite frankly, I don't know why, but I think it's because I had worked with the Humane Society at one point on it. But so I was comfortably and pleasantly surprised.
Well, we don't have a number for construction yet, but yeah, we do have the proposal later in the agenda for the design, which is a very good number. I was surprised by it as well.
I think I'll make a motion to approve the budget as approved, presuming that there'll be support and more time for discussion.
There is a motion made by Member Noy. Is there a second?
Support.
There's a second by Member Gannon. Once again, that would be to recommend the proposed fiscal year 2024-2025 budget for the Adrian Tecumseh Local Development Finance Authority to the Adrian City Commission and the Tecumseh City Council. That would be in the form of the attached budget table. Now, this notes that the total estimated revenues of $269,564, the proposed appropriation of $198,500, and a designation of $480,757 in fund balance for the public infrastructure projects. And furthermore, to direct the Adrian City Administrator to submit the proposed budget to the Adrian City Commission, the Tecumseh City Manager to submit the proposed budget to the Tecumseh City Council for review and approval. Once again, that motion was made by member Noy. It was seconded by member Ganaki. Questions, comments, discussion? Hearing none, Deputy Clerk Letman, roll call vote, please.
Chair Baker,
Yes.
Member Steele,
Yes.
Member Noe,
Yes.
Member Knoxville,
Yes.
Member Murphy, Member Derby,
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Motion is carried. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's go on to our second item under new business. This is the consideration to approve the proposal to complete the preliminary engineering for the access drive to the Witt Farm in Adrian. Administrator Elliott.
Thank you, Chair Baker. This is, as has already been discussed, just a entry drive. We don't know how the property will ultimately lay out as it's developed, though we have given some thought to that, and we've had discussions with MDOT, as I've mentioned before, about where the drive can be. Those will be reconfirmed by Manick and Smith as part of this process, but it tends to be south of the outlots that are present on that parcel. And so what we're asking Manick and Smith to do is just to design an entry with public road and utilities that would stub off with a temporary turnaround, allow for the layout of various lots within the parcel as someone might want to come and purchase those. We think that'll make it a more attractive development site, knowing that that piece of it is already done. We've had pushback from some who've been interested in the past when we've suggested that would be part of the effort to develop the site. And so we think that will facilitate the sale of the property and the development of the property. So with your blessing, we'd like to get going on that. And Manager Swallow has had the foresight to include a contingency amount in their approval we're requesting as well, which we appreciate.
Thank you, Administrator Elliott. What's the board's pleasure with this request?
And make the recommendation to approve as listed.
Okay, we have a motion by member Kapnick,
Or
second by member Noy, and that would be to approve the proposal from the city of Adrian. And this would be to complete the preliminary engineering for an access drive to the Witt Farm. Now, this is outlined in the attached Manick and Smith Group Agreement for professional services. The amount is $9,750. Furthermore, there would be a 20% contingency, which amounts to $1,950. This would be for a total authorization, $11,700. Furthermore, this would authorize the city administrator Elliott to execute the agreement with Manick and Smith. Once again, the motion was made by member Kapnick. It was seconded by member Noy. Questions, comments, discussion?
is there any, if I may?
Yes,
is there
ma'am.
anything creative in the way the schedule is? I'm just curious. The above detailed work will be completed within 6 weeks of authorization. Are those keywords of authorization? Is there any play within authorization and those? I've never seen it phrased quite like that, and maybe because I just have never seen it quite like that, but.
Yeah, I don't know if they mean that as any sort of magic language. I think once I sign it, honestly, they've already started the work. So I think once I sign the contract, it'll be done pretty expeditiously.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? I just want to say that I drive by that property. I don't want to say daily, but lately it seems like it daily. And, it really pleases me to see this corridor between our two cities. Another opportunity for a project to happen between our corridor and I'm really thankful for this. I'm hoping that this turns out to be a successful project, and I certainly support your request this evening.
Thank you, Mr.
Absolutely.
Chair.
Anyone else? Deputy Clerk Melton, I'd like a roll call vote, please.
Member Steele,
Yes.
member Noe,
Yes.
member Capnick,
Yes.
member Knoxville,
Yes.
member Derby,
Yes.
Chair Baker.
Yes. Motion is carried. Thank you all. Thank you. Let's go on to attachments and recurring reports. Manager Swallow, do you have something you'd like to share there?
Thank you again, Chairman, Board. Standard reports, you see is particularly the revenue and expenditure report that highlights our various revenue line items as well as expenditure line items. So good news is in terms of revenue, we're tracking very closely to budget, 98% of the summer taxes, as well as right now we're a little short on the, in the winter taxes. But I think there's still some collection yet to occur. So with that, also, the good thing about having fund balance is we're making some interest, especially with interest rates. So we actually this year $16,874 in interest. So that's nice to add to our potential revenues. And then just quick through the expenditures, you see the website hosting as well as our Launch Lenaway program invoices come through. And that's the majority of our expenses to date. We'll probably be under budget in terms of expenses because some of the projects we did not do. So we'll probably add additional funds to our fund balance, which is projected in the balance sheet report.
Thank you, Manager Swallow. Do you want to stay right up there, or would you rather have Administrator Elliott talk about the fund balance report?
Again, we covered that a little bit in the budget, but over $500,000 in fund balance right now, 506.91, projecting to add to that this current fiscal year. So up to, if it all goes, without, we've still got some additional expenditures, but as of right now, we could potentially add 159,000 to our fund balance.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Public comment, items that were not on the agenda. Any of you in the audience, this is your opportunity. We're here to listen. Anyone? Any of the board members have any comments that they'd like to make at this time? I would just like to say thank you. Those of you who came here this evening to take a time out of your busy Wednesday evening to attend this. Certainly want to thank those of you who are following online. That means a great deal to me, and I know it means a great deal to this board. So thank you for tuning in this evening. And certainly want to thank all of our staff, Dan, Greg, Kelly, Joe. Jay, thank you. And Mary and Gordon, thank you for being here. And Mark, thank you for being here this evening. So it means a lot when we have this, and it means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to the board. Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, July 17th, 6 p.m. It'll be in Tecumseh City Council chambers. Gosh, that's hard to believe, but that's the next meeting, July 17th. So look forward to meeting with you all then. And if there's, yes, ma'am. Yeah, no, that's okay. Go right ahead. July 17th. Okay, and we meet, it'll be a Wednesday once again, and it's at 6 p.m. and it's in our council chambers. Without hearing any further comment, adjournment is in order.
Thank you.
Motion by member Noy. I think that is a motion, right? Am I
Why
right?
not? Why not?
Am I
Yeah,
right?
it's a
Okay.
motion. I meant it as a motion.
I know you did.
Everything I say is a motion.
And it was supported by member Kapnick to adjourn this evening's meeting. Those in favor of the motion, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed, no. Motion is carried. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you all.